What's going on, Jerome's? We're back, still at the undisclosed location. Now, Kirk Jerome Cousins, when the Vikings brought in new head coach Kevin O'Connell, as well as Wes Phillips, both coming over from the Rams, like, okay, the guys that helped transform Matthew Stafford from a garbage time stat stuffing, couldn't get it done in the playoffs type jabroni quarterback, all the way to Super Bowl champione, then they can do the same for Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings, as well as the connection with Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell from Washington. Everything's coming together, right? And Kirk Cousins, even though he does have some familiarity with the offense, he's going at it hard in terms of studying, getting after it, and learning the new offense. Will Raggett, Sports Illustrated, go. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins says he's felt like an eighth grader studying for a quiz at times when he goes home and runs through flashcards to help him learn this offense. Now, I fully expect Kirk Cousins, when he was in eighth grade, high school, college, the flashcards, checking things out. E equals MC squared. I think that Kirk was a full-on book nerd, but that's fantastic. And Kirk Cousins in this offense, if they can protect him, they can have the running game with Dalvin, also the receiving game with Dalvin. Also, you got the best wide receiver in the National Football League in Justin friggin' Jefferson. Thielen still has a little something. The rest of the wide receiver group can amplify that. Irv is coming back with a vengeance. Woo! Everything. Again, everything about this offseason makes me feel itchy because it feels like everything is coming together to make this delicious stew, that baby we got going, right? And then Thomason, go. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins says there are similarities in the offense to that he ran in Washington, but he is approaching it like it's new. Vikings OC Wes Phillips on Kirk. When you talk to a guy that's got this much experience and has had this much success in the league, it feels a lot like when Matthew Stafford came in. They can reference plays, specific plays. Oh, that was 2015 when we were playing the Eagles. Now, to a degree, that's a cool point. But it brings me back to when Sean McVay, everyone is impressed because Sean McVay rattled off the starters. I think the Rams are playing the Bears. So McVay rattled off all the defensive starters and said something about him. That's your job, man. As I die, is that you, Rona? I mean, that's your job. I would be pissed if my head coach couldn't name the starting lineup of the team that they're about to play. But anyways, that's just me. But Kirk, back to school to prove that daddy, he's not a fool. And Kirk last year, again, stats-wise, maybe not the best, but just eyeballs. Kirk Cousins, from the eye test, I think he played the best football of his career. Vikings won a handful of games because of Kirk Cousins. He would have had a couple more wins if the defense didn't fail them. But remember, Kirk Cousins was the one who couldn't stop Jared Goff or Cooper Rush or Sam Darnold, even though the Vikings ended up winning that game because of Kirk Cousins in overtime, KJ Osborne calling game. But it was just a mess. And we've said that it feels like there's just too much inertia with Vikings fans. There's like, hey, blame Kirk for everything. They took our jobs, all that stuff, too much money, too much salary cap. But that's not necessarily the case anymore. And Kirk, after the bye in 2020, where before the bye, yes, Kirk was the problem. Kirk played like ass, thank you. He was the worst quarterback in the league, or among them, right? But since the bye in 2020, I think Kirk Cousins has played the best football of his career. And what's amazing is that he was doing with old-ass Gary Kubiak, with young-ass Clint Kubiak, as well as head coach Mike Zimmer, basically consciously or subconsciously working against him the whole time. But now you have Kirk, who's going to work hand in surgical glove, snap, with Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips. And it's got to be exciting, man. Now, this is probably the most excited I've been for the Vikings offense, and this is not hyperbole. Since 2009 when Bert Favre got here, and 98 when Randy Moss joined the Vikings, when I was a wee lad, right? So that's how much hype I have for this offense this year, and Kirk Cousins is that guy where if they can protect Kirk, if you can mind meld with Kevin O'Connell, and Kevin O'Connell stays away from Kirk's negatives, and then you get Justin Jefferson going to work, how can you not like this offense? And given the NFC, the Vikings could easily have the best offense in the National Football Conference. Maybe not the AFC. I mean, just look at the AFC West alone, man. But I don't think that's purple Kool-Aid, man. Like, objectively, even the most haterade Vikings fans out there could be like, they're going to put up some points. And guess what? That defense is going to be better than the last 2 years. So Vikings top 5 offense in the league. Defense is middling as well as they get pressure. And they're built to play with a lead where they can pin their ears back and get after it. Whew. Come on, man. Come on, baby. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Kirk Cousins studying the offense. Back to school. Back to school. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull, production value.